Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 12th and final round.
Right hand, Golovkin steps in and down he goes again. Unbelievable. Mayweather makes him pay. What a rookie mistake. A sensational left hook by De La Hoya.
It's facts. I'm the best. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't want to believe it myself, but it's the truth. I'm the best. I'm going to show you how great I am.
From Southern California, this is the Last Round Podcast.
Episode 81 of the Last Round Podcast. Once again, stuck inside, but seems like some stuff is opening, at least here in California and other surrounding states. How you doing, Mike?
All good, all good. Good to be back. You know, it's pretty much the only thing I get to look forward to all week is jumping on the show with you. So
I'll take that as the highest compliment ever.
It was meant. It wasn't meant to be negative.
I hope not. But once again, guys, we appreciate you guys for listening, whether you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever you're listening to. If you're watching the video version of this podcast on YouTube, we appreciate it. And if you're watching the video version of this podcast, you can already see who we have. The champ is here, 130-pound world champion Jamel Herring, on for the second time here at the Last Round. How's it going, champ?
Everything's good. Can't complain. Just basically finishing up my second week here in Omaha for training. So I'm feeling good.
So what's going on, man? How come everybody knows your name at 130 pounds now?
It's crazy. I think tomorrow will be a year ago since I picked up the title, matter of fact. When I fought Masahiko Ito out in Kissimmee, Florida. So, since then I've just been busy and keeping my name and face out there, but I guess that explains one reason.
What do you think that? What do you think it was like the turning point where all these other names in the division is like? Because for the longest time, even when you won the title, I think you had mentioned it on our show when we interviewed you at the Bank Stadium out here in LA.
Right.
That even though you had the title, you were still trying to fight for these big fights with these big names, which was strange. But now, a lot of the other contenders and other, champions, they're calling you out. So, what do you think was the turning point?
I think for the most part for right now is because of this whole quarantine thing. And, like a lot of the contenders and are basically available here in the States, stateside at least. So I know that's part of the reason. Like everyone's hungry to get back in boxing, of course. So everyone's eager to get not only back into the ring but into those big fights as well. So that definitely, I know that's definitely one of the reasons why. But I don't take it as insult or disrespect or anything like that. I'm actually just flattered by everything because, like I said, like a year ago, it was hard to even after picking up a title, it was hard to even get noticed or mentioned by anyone. But it comes to the territory over time once you put, you pay your dues, and here we are now.
One of the fights that excited me was actually when you said about no international flights, Leo Santa Cruz. I've still got Al Heyman's number on speed dial.
Yeah,
that would be a great fight. Is that something that we could possibly see if the Carl Frampton fight falls through in December?
Like I said, hold on, you guys can see it. I still got I still got the number. but yeah, definitely. If like I said, for me, Abner Morris actually recently called me out not too long ago, and he's over there at the PBC. So that fight definitely interests me. I know Leo's pretty much tied up with the whole Gervonta Davis situation, and their fight now heading down to the 130 limit. So but definitely I wouldn't mind fighting one of those guys, Leo, Abner Morris. Of course, Carl Frampton is priority number one, but that's just, like I said, if we still have these bands and travel bands and things of that nature, why not try to make, the fights that's available here in the States?
The Carl Frampton fight that's priority number one, but
yeah.
in the UK, because I know that in previous interviews you've talked about how you want to go and fight in front of those crazy European fans. So I'm assuming you don't want to bring it over here.
It's crazy. I'm actually kind of upset that that things happen and where I couldn't fight June 12th in Belfast, Northern Ireland. So I'm still kind of upset because, like I said, I think that's like one of those experiences that not many can, especially like American fighters can like actually experience to be in, and especially in a main event of that magnitude. So it's kind of heartbreaking because, like I said, even though I was going in as a guest and basically on enemy territory, I've gotten a lot of love from the UK and Irish fans out that way who are actually looking forward to seeing it, and it just hurts to to see that they'll be disappointed because that fight won't be able to happen, and it looks like even if it does happen now, because like we all know in Northern Ireland you can only have certain fights around that time of year, especially in outside stadiums. So, but I know Carl Frampton, he surprised me by mentioning that he's even willing to come to the States to the Madison Square Garden to fight, but. Definitely, Carl Frampton's still probably number one. I just can't pinpoint now exactly where the fight will take place once everything starts to clear up and get better.
Like Danny touched on, you've gone from nobody really saying your name to now Carl Frampton saying, "I'm not fighting anybody but Jamel Herring." How did that make you feel?
Hey man, I mean, much respect to Carl Frampton. Like I said, he's hungry. He wants to make history. I respect that. I respect him even acknowledging me because, like I said, for the past year, you guys seen it. After I beat Ito, I was basically called challenged by Miguel Berchelt, and one thing after another, that fight never manifests for whatever reason. Everyone knows I was all for it because I already feel like I proved a lot in that Ito fight, and I just figured why not just go further and keep going, and testing myself. But I couldn't get that fight. Oscar Valdez is my mandatory, but I couldn't get that fight as well. And basically, Carl Frampton was like the only one that wanted to basically give me the opportunity to share the ring with somebody who had a well-known name out there and a far better resume than mine. So that's why I was actually willing to give him that luxury of fighting in his home country, and take care of business there. But I mean, it just feels great to be noticed by these guys that I watched that one. Because like I said, I always tell people all the time, I'm a fan of Carl Frampton. I watched the Quigg fight, the Warrington fights, the Santa Cruz. I watched those fights, so I've always been a fan of Carl Frampton. And there's never been any animosity. He showed me a great deal of respect, and I showed him the same.
Speaking of Santa Cruz, Frampton, obviously they fought. I believe they fought twice. Right.
They should have been the third. As a fan, they should have been the third fight. They both 1-1. They should have broke even.
So, because obviously you're a world champion in the division there, your name's mentioned with Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton, obviously. What did you think of both of those fights? Obviously, we all want the rubber match because they split one. Mm-hmm. But what did you think what did you think of Santa Cruz's performance? What did you think of Frampton's performance?
I think in the first fight, Carl, he boxed a great deal in the first fight. From my opinion, he was just a lot more sharper, whereas Leo was trying to engage him more in a battle, in a brawl at times. But Carl was smart enough to pick his shots and box when he felt like it was time for him to box and was comfortable. But in the second fight, if you look at it, I think Carl was a little bit more aggressive, and that played into Leo's his style, because we know Leo, even though he's not the biggest hitter, the biggest puncher, he'll throw flurries with you, and I think that kind of played into his game plan to where he edged out that, because they were both close fights, but I guess the judges swayed in Leo's way because I think that fight just favored him a lot more. But they were two close fights, and it actually, it would have been great for the trilogy but a lot of fans, as they probably look at it as now that the fight has been long overdue for a trilogy, and I guess most fans have have moved on. I know Carl basically moved on himself as well, but I thought it was kind of sad that that we as a people couldn't get to see the third fight.
Jamel, you fought on you're going to be fighting Memorial Day weekend, Veterans Day weekend, Independence Day weekend. Any more that you want to fit in before retirement?
Man, maybe Christmas. I don't know, man. You're crazy. Had these things just always sway into I guess basically dates that favors me. Obviously because of my military background. I won the title on Memorial Day weekend. I defended the title on Veterans Day weekend. Now I'm making another defense. Basically as the I guess from what I've been told, one of the first world champions during this quarantine thing to actually defend the title. Now on Independence Day weekend. So like I said, everything happens for a reason. It's just crazy how things play out. But, I'm grateful. I'm just grateful just to be on this platform and just, do what I do, and which is boxing, which is what I love.
I know there's been a few people linked, Andy Vences, Albert Bell, Abraham Nova. Because obviously it's not too far away. Is there any confirmed opponent yet? There
is. Obviously people also brought the name Jonathan Okendo as well. Mm-hmm. And that name pretty much basically came up because one, he kind of he kind of fit the stature at least of a Carl Frampton. And I know Tyrank really wants me to prepare for that fight because that, like I said, that's priority number one. So, and plus he was also, he no matter what people may say, he is ranked by the WBO. And if you look at it, it's no disrespect to Vences or Bell, but a lot of things they're not ranked. Of course, Abraham Nova, who I know also well, he is ranked. But I know if you look on Twitter, top-ranked matchmaker Bruce Trampler came on there and basically stated himself that now they have other plans for Nova. So of course that was pushed to the side. And plus, fights like that, he's undefeated. He's undefeated. Title contender. They want crowds for those type of fights. So that's probably, I know that's one of the reasons why that fight was basically pushed to the side as well. But it was crazy. I think I put up proof on Atheno Boxing. They had reposted it yesterday. That the whole fight that at least went on Okendo, that was pretty much made a week ago. That was already. Then all these stories just a couple of days later with the Bell and the bench thing came out, and people mention I'm just over here. Decking fights and things of that nature. But we all know, I came up the hard way. I had to, fight and claw my way up to the top. So it's that's not in my nature just to avoid fights, especially if, right now we're dealing with a state where people are craving just for sports, period. So of course, if I could be one of the ones to get out there and showcase my talent, I will. But like I said, at the end, Tyrank just felt that, the Okendo fight could be the best fit in terms of getting used to the, the height and things of that nature of Carl Frampton.
Do you feel it's a bit of a risk taking a fight before the big Carl Frampton fight? Looking at Andy Ruiz upsetting Anthony Joshua.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think this is boxing. We all know. Looking like you said, you just point out the main one, Anthony Ruiz Joshua. That's supposed to have been first. Jarrell Miller was supposed to have that fight, and then Ruiz came in as basically, just the tune-up, but things happened and boom, we had a new world champion. But like I said, that's why I'm training hard now. I don't take anybody for granted because at one point in time, when you look at it last year, when I was fighting Ito, I was considered, a tune-up, and a stepping stone just because they was, for the longest, they was talking about Ito Burchell. And then I came in and ruined the party and plans. But yeah, I think any fight in boxing is definitely a risk to those big fights. Even when you look at the Wilder Fury situation, a lot of people for the longest we thought we was going to see Wilder and Joshua. Then Tyson Fury came back into the mix. Not only he reclaimed the title, but now in my opinion he's the number one heavyweight in the world. So like I said, anything can happen in boxing. So you have to stay sharp and and just be prepared for what's to come. But I believe in myself. I believe in my team. And like I said, I'm training hard. For the most part, during this whole quarantine, I have everything that I need. So there's nothing that's holding me back or leaving any doubt in my mind when the fight does come. So, but yeah, definitely. I respect Carl. And if you ask my opinion about that, I think it's kind of risky on his part. And the reason why I say that is because if we happen to fight, what I'm hearing, maybe sometime in December, you got to look at it as he would be out the ring for the whole entire year. Mm. So it kind of play, it kind of plays risky on both sides. But I'm like, me and Carl, we're not, Ryan Garcia age. You know what I mean? So it's to have that layoff and that ring rush can build up. That's a risk as well. But like I said, we all make our own destiny, and we just have to go take it day by day.
What's it like for you, knowing that there's been no PED testing? Obviously, being the champion, these people coming up, they may take the risks, because obviously I think the WBC and quite a few of the states have announced since March that they haven't been doing any testing during the quarantine.
Yeah, that's a real shame, and that's definitely risky because you don't know what people are taking these days. We know how like a lot of these guys are getting smart enough, even though when there is testing involved, to get around the testing. You know, like these guys are injecting themselves for a certain time period, and then they're flushing it out their system. For another time, so there's a problem to test. So, that stuff, that does bother me. But I know for a fact, with me, I've always been clean. It comes basically from my military background because we were always tested. So, I just never thought about taking anything, because I had that habit. Like, man, I don't feel like getting busted or caught with anything. But, yeah, definitely it's crazy. But I guess this is another risk we have to take. But hopefully these guys will have integrity and just, do things by the book and do things the right way.
Jamel, what do you think about fighting in front of no people? There's no crowd. It's just going to be two fighters in the ring. Obviously, just like UFC just put on their events, that was kind of like the measuring stick of what everybody can expect. You as a fighter, especially for some fighters who say they said in interviews that they take that support from the crowd as their adrenaline. Would that affect you in the ring, or are you just already focused and able to fight?
No, you know why it doesn't bother me? Because even though I'm an Olympian and I came out the Olympics and I signed with Al Heyman, I still had to fight on undercards where there was pretty much nobody in the venue, but maybe my corner and family. So that doesn't really bother me. I just look at it and like for the most part anyway. When I'm in a fight, I tune out everything anyway, and all I can hear is my team. So, it doesn't bother me, but it also might play into my advantage because maybe my opponent, he may be the type that needs the crowd energy, to get him, energized in there. But for me, I look at it like this. At the end of the day, this is what I signed up for. I got to go in there and take care of business. And hopefully this will be just a one and done deal with this type of event. And we can get back to, the crowds and the arenas filled with people again.
So how's camp going with Terence Crawford and Mo Hooker? That must be some top-level sparring.
Hell. But it's great. It's great overall. That's why I feel like I will be ready for sure because I have a guy like Bud Crawford just in my ear all the time. Like he's not the type to pat you in the back for every good thing you do. No, he's there to correct your wrongs and make sure that you, that you embedded in you that, this is what we need to do to be near perfect for fight night. But, oh, yeah, definitely. And then, like I say, you mentioned the sparring. Sparring's tough, man. Sparring's tough right now, Bud, people think that Bud is a small welterweight, man. Bud is like a solid dude, literally. Like, he's hard to – he's hard to basically bully. Like people say, you guys point out how I'm big for my weight class, man. But even for me, it's hard to get around a guy like Bud Crawford in the ring. You learn something like I put it out on Twitter. You learn something every time you're in there with him because one day, I learn how to do certain things in terms of boxing. The next minute, I learned how to basically. Hold my ground with a guy like that because it's not too much running you can do with a guy that size at times. So you sometimes get to just stand your ground and just fight it out. But for the most part, it's never where we're trying to just basically take the fight out of us in camp and then we have nothing left for the real fight. No, everything comes as a learning experience when we're in there with each other.
I see he stole your car. Did you get it back?
I got it back. Yeah.
How would you did a good assessment there of Terence Crawford. What's it like? Did you spar with Mo?
I haven't sparred Mo this camp, but I sparred with him the last camp. And one thing that I know my trainer's working on with Mo is basically they're trying to implement him to use his more physical advantages. Because we all know, if we're being honest, like I'm along with Mo, but we all know he likes to engage in a firefight, like he did with such as with Jose Ramirez. He likes to engage in a firefight. But now that he's training with us, we're trying to let him, get him to start using his jab because he has a good jab. We just want him to use it a little bit more to set things up. Like it's okay sometimes because I do it. I have a good reach advantage in my weight class. But sometimes I have to dig deep and fight in the trenches. But before we need to go taking that risk, we have to start using our physical advantages first, and that's what they've been trying to really use more. And I've been seeing him doing that in the sparring sessions. He's been beating guys up more from the outside, then working his way in instead of just going in for a straight fight.
I can see from all the videos that they posted, Terence Crawford seems to be pretty competitive. Have you managed to beat him at table tennis?
No, I don't play tennis. I don't play. Listen, because if you beat him, he's going to want to continue to play until he beats you. That's the type of guy he is. Like, for instance, the other day we ran 3 miles. We ran three miles, and there's a park. It's like 3 laps. It equals like a little bit over 3 miles. He stopped at 2 because like I said, he's getting back in the groove of things. But since I had came in first in that whole thing, then that's when he wanted to go out there and do sprints. And then he wanted I'm like, man, we just ran 3 miles. Now you want to do sprints uphill? Like uphill, you want to do sprints. And I'm like, man, he's not gonna. And he's like, no, come on. If you want to be great, this is what we gotta do. I'm like, now he throws that in there. It's like, oh, here we go. Now he's gonna test and see if I really want to be a real champion or not. So I'm like, I just gotta now. I have to do it now because I don't want to think that I'm just a title holder here. So he's like, no, you want to be a champion. You want to be great. This is what we gotta do. So we did sprints. And I beat him in sprints, and he just finally let it go. He retired. He let it go.
Do you play anything? Because I see that he does. Is it NBA 2K, chess?
Listen, that's between him and Shakur Stevenson. Call of Duty, NBA 2K, Madden, they play all of that. Me, I just watch from the sideline because I hear all the arguments in the end. I'm just like, hey, we can compete where it counts, when we're in the gym and working out. But when I'm home, I do not want to. I play my own games by myself, without any interruption. In peace. I didn't even tell him. I got my PlayStation here because he might want to download some games that he has, and we can compete there. That's just the top guy he is.
How is he doing, like, in terms of, like, is he kind of frustrated right now because there's no fights going on? Because obviously we know that he's a very competitive guy, like you just mentioned. How's he doing in terms of this whole situation?
A lot of guys, even in between fights, they don't really come to the gym. But like since I've been here, I've seen him in the gym just about every day, working on something. Like you would think that he's preparing for a fight himself. He just likes to stay sharp and busy. But I haven't seen any basic signs of frustrations. I know for a fact that he's actually in talks right now for another big fight that's coming up. Potentially coming up when this whole thing passes over. So I guess that's what's keeping him, calm and cool because there are talks in between for other big fights out there. So yeah, for the most part, he's been enjoying the time off. He's happy that the team is back together, of course. But no, I can't say that he's been frustrated or anything. I know he stated that he doesn't want to fight until people are allowed to attend the fights and everything. But for the most part, he's just been like the same old Bud Crawford since I've been back.
Is it Kell Brook?
Man, I actually wanted to see that. As a fan, I wanted to see that fight because for a long time I actually been a fan of Kell Brook. I thought Brook at one point in time was the best welterweight in the world, up until, of course, we fought Errol Spence. And I speak with Errol. I speak with Errol all the time as well. Me and Errol, we were 2012 Olympic teammates. So I'm still closely tight knitted with Errol. But I actually pleaded for that fight. I actually wanted to see that fight. Of course, we all wanted. I wanted to see how he would do against Sean Porter as well, because Sean gives everyone out there, win or lose, he gives everyone a hard fight. Then, of course, it's the Manny Pacquiao fight. One fight I don't want to see right now, and which a lot of people may still do, is the Errol Spence fight, because I want to see how Errol, I care about Errol. Errol's a good friend of mine, and I just want to see how how his body reacts after the whole accident thing, and that's just me being a human and being a real friend, Of course, I want to see the fight as a fan, but I just want to see him get his feet wet again before, they can actually make that fight. I believe that fight will happen because I speak to both of them. They both want to fight. They both have a mutual respect for each other. Even when you see interviews, they may take jabs at each other here and there, but at the end of the day, they always state that they do both want to fight. And then when the fight does happen, it'll be a good one. But right now, I just want to see Errol, fully heal up and get back in the ring and do what he does best.
What on earth were they feeding your 2012 Olympic team? I think there's every single one of you is either being a world champion or challenged for a world champion.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we were actually the first Olympic to actually not medal in terms of the men's side. Shout out to Coach Shields and Marlene as far as I love you, ladies. You guys helped us out a lot in terms of bringing some medals back. But in terms of the men's side, we're actually the first to bring any medals back. But like you pointed out, it's just amazing how like a lot of us have either won the title or fought for the title. Like I can start from Rashid Warren, JoJo Diaz is the champion now, Jose Ramirez, myself, Errol Spence, Terrell Goucher, he fought for the title when he fought Laura. Marcus Brown, he's been up there, and Dominic Brazil has fought not only Wilder but Joshua as well. So yeah, man, but like the team has basically been stacked with loads of talent, and these guys are still going. You're still pressing hard for more, but if like I said, if we couldn't achieve success in the Olympics, I'm just glad that we redeemed ourselves on the pro level, and we've just been racking as many titles and belts as we possibly can.
Jamel, right now a big beef that's been happening at least the last day or two, it's been happening for a while. And they're around your weight class, obviously, is between Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. They've been kind of going back and forth on Twitter.
You got to include the Teofimo and the Devin Haney's, man.
You're right. And the Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney's all there and stuff like that. They're all kind of going back and forth in their own little quadrant right there. And then you kind of you touched on earlier how Gervonta Davis and Seal Santa Cruz want to go at it. But there's been reports that Santa Cruz says that he wants that fight at 130. But Gervonta Davis has already shown issues with making not just 130, but 135. If it goes to 130, you as a fighter, especially a world champ at 130, do you think somebody like Davis could, in a healthy manner, make 130 for a Santa Cruz fight?
Like I said, from a boxer standpoint, an athlete, if you look at it, and it's not to take anything from Gervonta, because he's done whether you like it or not. He's done everything his team had asked him to do. He lost the title on the scale, but he came back and won the title again. Then he moved up and won another title. But with that situation, how I look at it like this, because if you look at his performance with the Gamboa fight, and that he had issues making weight. We all know sometimes that weight, even though that 1 or 2 pounds can drain you, and it seems people argue that he kind of kept Gamboa around longer than he should have. Mm-hmm. And in the middle rounds, it seemed like he kind of slowed the pace, and that could have been because of the weight. So I kind of worry on that, and I think that's why, and I can't knock Leo Santa Cruz. It's smart. It's a smart strategy on their part. If you're going to, if they want to fight you so badly, hey, make the chips where you have things in your advantage. Because I was thinking, like a lot of us, if Leo Santa Cruz was to move up at 135, I wouldn't see him having the chance at all. But if he's able to somehow, get Tank to drop all the way down to 130 and have that, because like I pointed out, Leo has that tremendous punch output. That can swarm you, and that can tire you out mentally. He may have a chance, but then again, like I said, Tank has an equalizer with his with his power. So that's definitely an interesting fight. And just in terms of the lead up to the fight, before the first even bell even rings, it's going to be interesting to see how they do leading up just to the weigh-in, how they look, because you can easily tell how a man looks. Just from looking at him during that few moments in the weigh-in. So that's that. Like I said, I actually gave Gervonta a lot of credit for even agreeing to going full-fledged 130. I was, for the longest, I was thinking it was going to be like a catch weight, 133, somewhere around there. But if he's going out at 130, give him credit, especially if he comes out on top of that fight.
Jamel, you're a student of the sport, and I like the way you preview and break down fights. What's your opinion on the Ryan Garcia against Jorge Linares fight that should be upcoming?
That's actually another tough fight. Jorge Linares is he's one of my favorite guys to watch. If I'm being honest with you, I'm always honest, man. Jorge Linares put me on my ass in sparring back in 2011 when I actually first met him. Like, I was actually getting the best of him in the sparring because I was a 141 pounder. You know, I was a junior welterweight as an amateur, and I would just box him from the outside. But he's so quick, and his timing, it was just a flash knockdown. Like, boom, I didn't see the right hand coming. And I was like, man, like, this guy's incredible. Like, and this is before I really even got to really know and study him. And I seen what he did in his last fight. Remember, a lot of people was counting him out after he went up to 140 and he took that loss, and then he came back down. They thought, okay, he's past his prime. And you know, Jorge and Ryan have a common opponent in Carlos Morales, and you've seen what he did to Carlos, man. Like, Carlos gave Ryan a hard fight, you know, to the last bell. But Jorge Linares still showed that he still has, you know, something in the tank still. So I think that's a really interesting fight. It's a fight that's going to basically tell you if Ryan Garcia is the real deal and he's ready for that world title level. And it's also going to show you on the other side that if Jorge Linares still has what it takes to compete at a world championship level. So it's a good fight.
Can I throw another one at you? Teofimo Lopez, Lomachenko.
Well, man, that's the moment we're all waiting for, man. I give credit to Teofimo because if you look at it, we all know how these sanctioning bodies work for starters. You being a world champion, you don't have to fight another world champion. And another world champion can't be a mandatory unless some crazy stipulation. But unless you have a champion on recess or whatever. But give him his credit. He's young, barely old enough to drink. You know, he's out there. He wants to take on one of the best pound for pound fighters today. And, you know, I think he actually has a good chance because, like I said, it's just like, I don't take what he says as arrogance. Like, him and his father, they see something that we may not catch on, we may not see right now, but they're really confident and they're really pushing for this fight. They're like, they'll sometimes sometimes, as you've seen in the past, they'll try to fool the public into thinking that Lomachenko is the one that doesn't want to fight as quickly as he wants to. But overall, I mean, Lomachenko is still a great fighter, a smart fighter. He may not be the biggest puncher, but, man, like, just what he does in terms of, you know, with his ring IQ and his footwork and his speed, you know, even though he's a small lightweight, he's still a tremendous fighter. And but like I said, it's just a real good fight. And I give obviously, of course, Lomachenko will be the favorite, but I actually give Teofimo a good deal of a chance of you know, proving people wrong. Because look what he did with Richard Comey. Richard Comey's only 2 losses prior to that was to my good friend Robert Easter Jr. and a guy that beat me, Denis Shavakov, and, you know, both of those losses were actually close fights. You know, but, like, Teofimo just got him out of there like that. You know, people thought after Teofimo's previous fight, they thought he was going to have a rough time with Richard Comey, but, man, he proved us wrong. And that's what I mean. Like, the kid is just sharp. And, you know, Lomachenko has been put down by, like, Jorge Linares with shots like that, straight down the pipe. So it's going to be a good fight.
Jamel, in terms of all those guys that we just talked about, like Teofimo, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, and stuff like that, you know, they're all young guys, you know,
right.
But all of them except Ryan Garcia at the moment has a world championship essentially, and they've all, you know, ascended to that level, and everybody's just kind of watching Ryan to see, okay, if you were Ryan's promoter, if you were Golden Boy, if you were Top Rank, or you were in charge of Ryan's career and kind of guiding him like that, just because, you know, there's people that kind of go back and forth with him saying, oh, you know what, he's not ready for these elite guys. Some people even say he's not ready for Jorge Linares. Right. That you're gonna have to take him, you know, step by step, you know, kind of hit the brakes. But his popularity kind of clouds people's judgment and kind of makes it seem like, okay, you know, maybe he needs something because he keeps asking for that smoke. If you were his promoter, maybe his manager, how would you handle that situation?
I think it's crazy. Like, his momentum is so fast that his promoter, at this point in time, you look at it, his promoter really can't reel him back in. Because if you look, they've done that before. They've done that over a year ago when he was acting for, like, the Tank Davis and things of that nature. So they've been there. This is not the first time. This is not his first rodeo where he's actually been doing this stuff. And it's like you can only slow him down but so long. And you know, like I say, he has now a common opponent. His last fight with other world champions. So of course, fans and analysts, they take stuff like that and they compare it. But if I look at like obviously I think even Golden Boy even like trying to match him up with Hearn and Linares, I even thought that was a huge step, because this is a guy who's a multiple world champion. But I give Ryan Garcia his credit, and for the guy to not have an actual world title, he has a popularity over a lot of those guys still because of his base. So you know what I mean. So his self promoting is just crazy, and he'll make you believe at least that he belongs on that level with those guys. So it's like, but we all know in boxing the truth happens in the ring. So if he's asking for it, you got to eventually let him go out there. Obviously, we live in a time where if you look at it, a lot of these stars are built very slowly. I mean, we can go back to looking like, Oscar De La Hoya, he was still a kid when he won his first world title. Floyd Mayweather, still a kid when he won his first world title. And now it's like, it's crazy. Like these same promoters from like the Floyd and Oscar as promoters now for their kid, like, they're young stars. They'll sit there and try to tell you that, he's still young, he has time. Meanwhile, guys are like 23, 24, 25 years old. And I'm like, hold on, Oscar, hold on, Floyd. When you was about 21, you was fighting the Diego Corrales and this one and that one. But it's just crazy how even from these guys who was winning and who's in big fights at a young age, and now as promoter, put the promoter's hats on, and they're saying that their guys that still have enough time. They're still young, but like I said, boxing is just funny. But in today's world, from what I came up in, what we all came up in, but in terms of Ryan Garcia, he's like, if you look at it, I think I just seen the video. He's making fun of Tank, saying he's overweight. Like he's poking the bear. It's not like it would be different if people were saying, "Oh, Ryan is ready," but Ryan was the one that's basically hiding behind the promoter and not really engaging in these talks. No, Ryan Garcia is the guy that's out there saying he'll beat Devin Haney. He's better than Teofimo Lopez. Tank better look out for the left hook. He's calling for these guys. He's calling Linares the old man. He's past his prime. So he's the one out there. He's out there. Playing the bully. If you ask me, he's Abner Morris included. He's called that Abner Morris. So at some point in time, as the promoter, you gotta let him go out there and see if he's the real deal or not.
You've actually started managing fighters, right, Jamel?
Right.
How did that come about?
I think what it is. Like boxing, we all have that small window, and I didn't want to be that guy to be like, okay, I'm done fighting, now what? So I figured, get a head start on things. And I always believe I came from where I see a lot of talent that don't have the Eddie Hearn, the Oscar De La Hoya, the Bob Arum, or the Al Haymon behind them. So I figured if I can help get these guys get their foot in the door, I will feel good about myself because I did something good, and that's how I really got into the whole management. I didn't really get in because right now I'm at a time where I'm blessed, I'm grateful. Top Rank is taking care of me in terms of the money that I'm making now. So for me, it's not about the money. It's about I'm just happy to say if I can see a kid that I have helped get start and he make it to the top, the top level. That's enough for me. But that's how I really got into it. And just mainly just me helping out others instead of just, trying to hog up the spotlight and be selfish and think of just myself.
So, Jamel, you've 2 tours of Iraq, Marine, Olympian, world champion. What on earth are you going to do in retirement?
I don't know. I might, as you see from talking to you guys so naturally, I might have to do commentary. I mean, Andre Ward, man, I might be sitting next to you soon, bro. But, yeah, I mean, I will always be be involved in boxing. Like I said, and I think the management part, that's just a start. Like I said, because there's more. I mean, there's more I want to do. It's crazy when I see interviews, even like Bob Arum. He's been around forever in terms of promoting. He's promoted guys like Ali and to Lomachenko. And I hear interviews where he's saying that he respects where I come from, and he says sometimes I put on my promoter's hat because like the whole Belfast thing, when they people actually don't know. Me and my partner Jerry from LA, JC at Wildcard King, we actually were the ones who pitched the idea of fighting Carl Frampton to Top Rank. And this is a true story. I think we was at a Tyson Fury fight out in Vegas, right around that time when I won the title. And I was just saying, I seen that I wasn't getting the Burchell fight. Oscar Valdez, his team was interested in this. They were still, out of time, obviously still thinking about if they was going to move up to 130 or not. And I talked to Carl Moretti. I was like, well, I see. Because I read everything. So I'm like, I see that Carl Frampton is mentioned about, wanting to fight Valdez or moving up. And I was just saying, look, if he moves up, why not make it worth the time and just why not we just fight him, give him a title opportunity. And Carl, I'll never forget. And Carl Moretti, you can actually ask him this because he looked at me crazy. He was like, "What? I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, champ. I don't think Carl is ready to move up to 130." And it's actually an interview that you guys can look up when Bob had spoke about it. And because I guess they asked him the same question, how the fight happened. He was like, "Well, Jamel was actually one who brought this up to us, and that was him putting on his promoter's hat." And so when the whole idea again of when Belfast came up, there's not one article where I actually cried and complained about going to Belfast. It's like, okay, he actually agreed to even fight me, from the idea that I came up. Okay, I will, because I did want to fight obviously in New York because I seen the bit like just what happened with the first Joshua and Ruiz fight, with Katie Taylor and the Irish crowd and everyone, the UK crowd, and so I had the vision. I seen like, man, this is crazy. Like I think I seen more fans from overseas than Americans in the venue. So I knew that Carl Frampton, being who he is, he has a huge fan base. I seen him when he fought Leo Santa Cruz. But they came back to me and was like, well, champ, we think it's best that the fight would be bigger in Belfast. If you think it would be bigger in Belfast, send me over there. And they were just kind of surprised then too that like how my team was actually looking at me like, hey, wait, you sure you want to go? I said, man, look, Carl gave me the opportunity to give, shit a ring. Give him the same respect by giving him the field advantage. Because, we all know even after the Warrington fight, he was contemplating on retirement. So I look at it as, this may be his last hurrah, win, lose, or draw before we see a guy, with a good heart to Carl Frampton. So give him that same respect and give him his, maybe it could be his farewell bout. So that's how that fight came up. But that's why Bob always says, Jamel puts on his promoter's hat, because I look at the bigger picture in terms of boxing. I don't look at I came from the bottom in terms of the sport. So when I did get to the top, where I'm at now, I never wanted to put on that diva hat. And I don't care about the A side, B side. My thing is this, if it's on fair terms and the people want to see the fight, I'm all for it, wherever it's at. Just like I said to Abner Mars, if you want to fight, we can go fight in LA where you're at in the Staples Center. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? So, but that's just me.
It's good. I think you've touched on it before in previous interviews. The belt says world champion.
Right.
And like, obviously you're willing to travel. You're willing, right, to actually go out of the comfort zone. And I'm sure, being an amateur and traveling around the world, you're not bothered about going into someone's backyard and, that home cooking from the judges.
No. Yeah. I fought my good friend, Josh Taylor, like people don't know. Me and Josh Taylor fought amateurs back in 2011 when we met in the UK for the Olympic test event. And, that fight's on YouTube as well. But, for me, just traveling around the world, that's why I met a lot of good friends. I mean, like I said, me and Josh are still good friends to this day. I was happy for him when he won the title. He showed me a lot of love when I won the title. I know he's close with Carl Frampton, but like I said, I'm not going to look at him any different, but yeah, but overall for me traveling around has never been an issue.
Jamel, you touched on Eddie Hearn earlier, and obviously we talked about Golden Boy and stuff.
Eddie's not coming back, Eddie, because we got a fight to talk about. So he has to come back too. Yeah, he actually realized I got to give a shout out to Eddie because Eddie's a good guy.
So touching on Eddie Hearn and Golden Boy, they're obviously the two major promotions that are involved with DAZN. DAZN's been in the news the last 2 or 3 days or so. There's been reports about their the money coming in and everything, and they're looking for like some type of person to kind of fund them. What, as a boxer, especially, as a world champion, and you make your living through boxing, what do you think about that whole situation right now with DAZN?
I think it's sad. Yes, we know him with Top Rank, and obviously our platforms over here on ESPN, of course. But as a fight fan, and like I said, even as a manager, I think it'll be a huge blow for boxing. Because, like I said, you still have stars like Canelo Alvarez over there as well with DAZN, and Gennady Golovkin. People still actually want to see that third fight. So it's just crazy. Hopefully, I'm actually hoping that they can get through this. I actually have heard rumors, and for now, Golden Boy is actually thinking about going back to their Facebook platform for now until they can get that situated. So I do know that. But, man, I just don't want to see something happen like we've seen with HBO boxing, in the States here. But so I hope that, Eddie, Matchroom, Oscar, and Golden Boy can somehow, get through this, and we can continue to see DAZN. Because I enjoy watching fights in DAZN. The other night, I was just watching I just watched Kell Brooks Spence fight again on DAZN like they did 2 nights ago, following both the Floyd Maidana fight. So I enjoyed the content over there.
Jamel, I remember in a previous interview with us, you kind of stated, and I can't remember exactly how you worded it, but even though Top Rank were your promoters, you were kind of going in as the B-side. Has that changed now?
In terms of what?
Like, because I remember before when you were saying even though Top Rank were your promoter, you'd go into a fight, say, against like Ito, but you found out that like you felt you were the B-side. Yeah. But like now that you're the world champion, has that changed, and you feel that Top Rank is supporting you, and you're actually more the A side?
I mean, they always supported me, obviously, because like I said, they put the fight on when I fought Ito on Memorial Day weekend. I wasn't the mandatory, and they still somehow got me to fight with Ito. But like I said, me, like I just pointed out a few minutes ago, A side, B side. As long as I can get the fight, I'm okay with it. But in terms of Top Rank, my relationship with Top Rank is great. Like I said, I just spoke to Bob Arum a few days ago. I've heard rumors that he actually said that, he's very happy with not only myself, but my team. Because, if you look, I know we all heard that, like, a lot of fighters don't want to fight during this quarantine because they might have to take a pay cut. But Bob has recently stated that, he's really happy with how I've conducted myself during this quarantine because I'm reasonable. I understand the business. I understand that when we can't sell tickets, we can't bring in that live gate and things of that nature. So, yeah, my relationship with Top Rank has been phenomenal, and I'm just grateful. But, I mean, yeah, of course I was going into that fight. I mean, with Ito at the B side because I'm like a lot of people didn't think I was going to even win that fight. They thought that a lot of people actually thought that Top Rank just did a great job of getting me to actually a world title fight. Just to say that, hey, the Marine at least fought for a world title, but I wanted to take it further than that, and not just say I fought for the title, but I won the title, and not only won the title, but defended the title. Because you've seen Top Rank again; they're the ones who they put the Veterans Day thing in for my first title defense, and here they are now, Independence Day weekend. So Top Rank has definitely done. I have a great relationship with Top Rank, and they've done a great job, and I just hope we can continue to do great things. But even if I go on the B side for the Frampton fight, I'll still be grateful that we even got the fight because I'm just here just to cement my own legacy and just not just fight somebody, but I want to fight the best out there that's been known.
I'll kind of repeat myself a little bit here, but 2 tours of Iraq, Marine, Olympics, world champion. When's the movie?
When's the movie? We gotta talk to Jay-Z about that. I've been working on that. Like I said, but for me, I'm just soaking it all in. I'm just enjoying the moment. I feel, obviously, of course, for everything I've been through, even my ups and downs, the tragedies in my life, that something will come out of it, and a book or something. But for now, I just look at it as I'm the modern day Cinderella man. With Errol, then, and I got the nickname from Errol Spence. Shout out to Errol. So we still talk about that. But, yeah, right now I'm just soaking it all up. It's crazy. Some people may not, like me for whatever reason, whatever. But, I'm grateful just to even be acknowledged and noticed.
Is there still plans, especially because of the background that you have and now as a world champion? I think you had mentioned before, and even Top Rank had mentioned about having you fight on military bases if you guys can pull that off, because obviously that'd be a big support group for you. Are you still open to that?
Yeah, Jose Ramirez is managing my guy Rick. He's still trying to get that done. Actually, when I fought Roach, the idea, the Humvee actually came as a secondary idea. A lot of people don't know. The first idea, which is crazy, he wanted me to come in on a helicopter. This is the story. I don't know how he was actually going through the proper procedure to get that. He just couldn't get it in time. But he wanted me to basically come in on a helicopter and land center field, because it was a baseball field, of course, the fight was at, and then make my walk to the ring. But he's definitely trying to. So if he's trying, that was just for that fight. So I can just imagine what he would do if he can actually get a whole military base on the same page. But oh yeah, that's definitely what there's definitely been a goal that they definitely want to do in terms of representing me.
So July, like pending anything else doesn't happen with this whole quarantine and the COVID-19 thing, is July a go as of today at least?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's cemented. It's like I said, we are at the Top Rank. They already have a fight cemented in stone just for the month of June, and I'll be the first to actually break the month of July. But right now I'm training for a full 8-week training camp for July 2nd. That's the date that I was given, so I can put that out there. That July 2nd is from now without any interruptions is definitely a go. Just like June 9th for my bro Stevenson's returns, that's a go as well. So yeah, Top Rank, from what I know, they'll be putting on shows and events 2 or 3 times a week, I guess throughout the whole summer.
I'm sure, just like us, Jamel, you grew up watching Mike Tyson. What's your thoughts on his talks about comeback?
Oh man, listen, I would love to see, as a man, the Mike, just to, just live your life out, Mike. You've done a great job throughout your career, but man, he done triggered a fire now, man. Because I see Holyfield in the gym now training again. But it's great to see that Mike actually staying physically in shape. And boxing is a great workout, but who knows? I mean, but like these heavyweights is so like. They're not, like I said, I think every generation these heavyweights get bigger. You had the Alis, then you came into the George Foremans, then the Larry Holmes and Tysons, and then the Klitschko's, and now you got guys like Joshua and Wallace. These like the heavyweights, they continue to grow. So, but you know what I mean, and they're younger, and they get younger and younger. So I'd rather see, if he does take a fight, take a soft touch, but in terms of leave those other guys, just leave them alone. Like Mike, you're a Hall of Famer, Mike, and we love you, man. You've done a phenomenal job. You still entertain us, obviously, of course. And the same goes for Evander Holyfield. I wanted to see him, break that record of becoming, a 5-time or 4-time world champion. But even then, like I said, these guys, I'm not saying that they had their time and they should not try to hog the spotlight. No, I just feel like you guys did a great job. We honor you guys. We respect you guys. Lennox Lewis was one of my favorite heavyweights as well. And, it was crazy for me when I was a kid. I was like, this guy from the UK keeps beating a lot of American fighters, man. But when you get older, you actually like guys like me. You actually appreciate just the talent. Like I watched I appreciate the showmanship of the Prince Nassim. I appreciate when people undermine guys like Joe Calzaghe and the things that he did. So I always had that's what made me more of a student of the sport. Instead of looking at, our guys, I can study, the whole realm and respect all the guys. Like a lot of people don't know, one of my favorite fighters is Eric Morales. I was big on Eric Morales. I couldn't stand Marcos and Tony Barro's views, but I learned to respect, things that he did as well. So that's just me, man.
Well, Jamel, we almost had you almost an hour here, and we know you still got your own life to get back to, so we don't want to take up too much more of your time.
I'm probably getting yelled by the wife at home, I keep getting told that I have to do these things, but she's like, where is he at?
But before we let you go ahead and plug obviously your social media and obviously your fight coming up. And your fight coming up, has it been decided if it's going to be like on ESPN Plus, ESPN?
I think if I'm being honest, I'm thinking ESPN, and the reason why I'm saying that because on the business side, we all know that these networks, they need that content. So of course, I think the smart thing for them to do is put the their main flagships to get the bulk of the content. So from what I'm gonna say, I'm thinking it's ESPN flagship for sure, because like I said, the ESPN needs to get those viewers back in and get those guys on the couch to start watching these fights. Because if you look at it, combat sports right now, from the UFC and boxing, is pretty much the only two sports in the States right now that's having live events. We still haven't got our baseball up or anything like that. So of course, if you're thinking business wise, you will put the sports that you have available on your flag, on your where your main viewerships you can get available.
Well, Jamel, we appreciate your time, like I said, and then obviously your people can follow you. Is it Instagram and Twitter the same at Jamel Herring?
I don't have none of those crazy names. The same as right there, Jamel Herring. At Jamel Herring, one word. But like I said, people, you guys know I interact with everybody online. I'm not a diva. I'm a people person. Like I said, I appreciate you guys as much as you appreciate me. That's why I make sure to get from the store. Like the champion does have to go run out and do store runs. But that's what I love about here also. Everyone's treated equally. Like Bud is not bigger than me. I'm not bigger than Bud. We're all on the same page.
Awesome. Well, Jamel, good luck to you. If we don't speak to you again before your July title defense again, we wish you the best of luck, and hopefully, like everybody else in the boxing world, hopefully that Frampton fight can happen by the end of the year.
It's going to happen. Like I said, I'm a man of my word. I gave Carl my word. I'm not running away from the fight. Only when the fight doesn't happen if something crazy happens with this whole pandemic, but the fight would definitely happen.
Awesome. Well, Mike, go ahead and tell the listeners while we wrap up here where they can follow us.
At The Last Round 12 on Twitter and Instagram, and catch us next week. We'll be back with another guest.
Awesome. So for my co-host, Michael Shepard, for our guest of the week and world champ at 130 pounds, Jamel Herring, I'm Danny Z. This is The Last Round.
Thanks for supporting and listening to the show. Follow us at The Last Round 12 on social media. Rate, review, and subscribe. This is The Last Round Podcast.